Hello, I'm Pat Mowen, Prevention Specialist at the Crime Victim Center. I'd like to take this time to talk to you about the programs and trainings that are offered through the Crime Victim Center. All of us value education. It's also important to understand the value in prevention programming. Prevention education programs have the ability to increase an awareness of certain issues as well as the potential to create a safer community. The topics that we address in our presentations are those issues that could possibly lead to some type of victimization. We're able to address all age levels, starting as young as 3 years of age all the way through to adults. We've been fortunate over the many years to have established a wonderful working relationship with all the schools within Fayette County. Not only are we invited into the public school systems, but we're also requested by the private and parochial schools, the post-secondary institutions, as well as many other businesses, organizations, community, and civic groups. Since we do address a wide range of audiences, it's important to note that all of our program content and material is delivered in an age-appropriate manner and using a non-threatening approach. The list of topics that are available for presentations is quite lengthy. I'm only going to give you a sampling today of some of the programs that are available. I would direct you to our website at crimevictimcenter.com or to call the office at 724 438 1470, and we would be more than glad to give you the complete list of topics that are available. The first area or first program that I'd like to mention to you is under the title of personal safety. This topic is used to address child abuse. Of course, with the very young audience, preschool and early elementary age, we don't use the term abuse. So we identify certain safety rules that children already have learned. And then we introduce how they can keep their bodies safe. And this is done simply by telling them certain parts of their body are off limits. And those parts are identified simply by saying those parts of your body covered by your underwear or a bathing suit, and no one has the right to touch you there or look at them. At that age level, we also view an animated film with a little boy learning the same type of safety rules. And these rules are those about touching. And there are only two times whenever someone could possibly look or touch at those parts of their body, and that's to keep them either healthy or clean. Upon finishing the discussion and viewing the brief video, I follow up with asking them what were the two rules, and I'm very impressed that the very young learn these things quite quickly. I also take some time to distinguish between different kinds of secrets. Sadly, whenever a child is abused, most often they're told to keep it a secret. So I tell them there are some secrets they can keep and others that they must tell. And especially when it comes to someone not following those rules about touching. And then I encourage them to provide names of people that they could go to for help if it ever were to happen to them. As the children get a little older, we can still address the same topic, the personal safety, but we can use different examples, such as three kinds of touches: a safe touch, an ouch touch, and an uh-oh touch. The safe touches are obviously those that we welcome. Maybe it's a high five, a hug from mom and dad, or a pat on the back from the teacher. The ouch touches obviously are those that hurt us. Somebody pinches us, pulls our hair. And the uh-oh touches are when someone's not following those rules about touching. Again, there's another age-appropriate video that's animated and accompanies that discussion. As well as in the earlier program, we also encourage them to know who they can go to for help and also not to keep it a secret. As the children get older, we also review this, and at this age we can introduce that term abuse and identifying the different forms and behaviors of abuse: physical, emotional, mental, verbal, and of course the sexual abuse. And again, the same content delivering the message that it's never a child's fault that someone's harming them, not to keep it a secret, and who they could go to for help. Other topics that are addressed, and one is quite often requested, is bullying. Bullying exists at all age levels as well, with preschoolers all the way to senior citizens. So, again, the topic's always delivered in a manner that's appropriate for the age of the audience. And at sometimes there are not only accompanying brief videos, but also activity sheets. And a lot of times the handouts go home to the parents so they can review what their child learned today and to reinforce the message at home. Another topic that sometimes is the crux of a lot of the other issues is anger. Again, starting with the very young, talking about that feeling of anger, what makes us mad, and what do we do when we get angry. And sadly, most people make bad choices when they are angry, and then there are consequences to deal with. So, again, for the very young, we use different approaches, and sometimes I read books to the very young that goes along with the topic, such as The Very Angry Day That Amy Didn't Have. And then for the very young, like preschool, kindergarten, I was so mad. So these reinforce the message that it's okay to get angry, but it's not okay to make bad choices. Another topic that's often requested is that of diversity, especially what some of us have been witnessing and observing throughout the media. And again, starting with the very young, we're introducing some new words. Of course, diversity is one, meaning simply differences or variety. And then with the older students, we can introduce other vocabularies such as prejudice, tolerance, and acceptance. Sometimes there are activity sheets for the very young to identify how people are different from one another and what makes us similar. So again, this topic can progress through the adult level, and then at that age, high school and older, we can tie in current events in that discussion of diversity. Another for high school age and sometimes even junior high, the topic of dating, especially when it can become dangerous or possibly violent. This includes having them identify characteristics that they want in a relationship, be it respect, trust, honesty, support. Unfortunately, many young people in their early relationships don't recognize what a healthy relationship should look like, and sadly, it often turns into an abusive relationship. I said we address all age levels, and that includes the elderly population. Sadly, they're very similar to the children, that it's a very vulnerable population, sometimes not viewed as being very credible, and sadly, often abused in many ways, physically, emotionally, mentally, yes, and even sexually. As difficult as it is to hear, it happens. So these programs are available for family members, in-home healthcare providers, so everyone knows what to look for in the case of an elderly person being abused. Now, in regards to professional trainings that are available, there are two that I'd like to mention right now, and that is the one called mandated reporting. This is used for those individuals through their profession or occupation that either work with children or come in contact with children. They are required to have a 3-hour training on recognizing the signs and symptoms of child abuse as well as the reporting procedures. I'm one of the state certified trainers in our area that offers this, and as all of our programs in the past have been done in person, we can do some of these virtually now. This program is very important, not only to those professionals, but for anyone wanting to know how they can protect children. It goes over Child Protective Services laws, and again, the signs and symptoms that would indicate that a child may have been abused. And real important, the procedure for reporting. And another topic that is used for professional trainings is sexual harassment. This has always been presented over the years, but more recently it's been requested quite often, largely due in part to some of the high profile sexual harassment cases that are being played out in the media. It's very important to understand what sexual harassment is, how it affects the victim, what we can all do to prevent it, and again, where do we go for help. All of our programs give people the knowledge and the ability to prevent these types of things from occurring to themselves or other people. More recently, we focused on bystander intervention. Many times, we are not the victim or the target of abusive behaviors, but we see it occurring to other people. What can we do? We offer techniques and approaches that we can interrupt a situation or even provide the resources for that person to seek help. I hope this gives you some insight to the topics that are available for programs and trainings. And as I mentioned earlier, there's so many more, but I would encourage you, if we've piqued your interest a little bit about the education and training programs, please go to our website and click on the link for prevention, education, and professional trainings to see what's available there, or call our office, as I said, and that number again is 724 438 1470, and we would be glad to take the time to go over the other topics and subjects that are available for presentations. I wish you all the best today, and I hope to be seeing you all soon. Thank you.